In today's video, I'll be giving an update on the Making a Million challenge. So this is my attempt to make £1 million from the sports betting markets, and I've done this now for 98 months. So I'll be going through the results of this year and showing you the strategies that I'm using, what's working and what isn't. And a quick disclaimer, in this video you will not see me getting in any supercars. I'm not going to be flashing big wads of cash around, and I haven't hired any strippers to be around me and appear to be my girlfriends. This is just going to be an honest and transparent video of what's actually working for me. Alright, so I'm going to quickly talk about the strategies that I've been using this year, and I'll show you the results, and I'll give you some examples of each and talk about how you can implement them into your own betting. So we've got value betting first off, which is this one. I've got sharp football betting, which is from a website called sharpbetting.co.uk, which I will show you as well. I've got a strategy that I use on the horse racing for Betfair, and then I'll go through my yearly total and the challenge total since I started 98 months ago. So this is value betting. So with value betting, we're just looking to take odds which are higher than the lay odds on Betfair or higher than the no vig odds on Pinnacle. So Pinnacle is a sharp bookmaker, and you can use it basically to pinpoint value with other bookmakers. So yeah, this has been my year so far, and you can see it didn't get off to the best start here after like 153 inputs. So all of these inputs here, all of these results are from an individual bookmaker or an exchange. So it's mostly the exchanges, markets and Betfair. And you can see I didn't get off to the best start, and after like 153 inputs, I was actually at minus £500. But then I know the strategy works. I've been doing this for years. I've carried on, and I've got to this point now where we're seeing a nice uptick and we're seeing some nice profit. So you can see here on the left, these are all the inputs. And at one point, after 150 inputs, so that was probably like 60, 70 days of betting, I was at minus 535. And this is just the importance of having a long-term mindset. But then recently in the last few weeks, things have gone a lot better. I've hit some winners and just consistently won money, and now we're at 3,536 profit for the year. So yeah, value betting is working. Clarify what a value bet actually is. It's where we can back odds which are higher than the exchange lay odds. So I'm just using Oddsmonkey here. You can do this manually with stuff like Odds Checker and Odds Portal and search yourself, but it's just so much quicker and more efficient to use some kind of software. So a lot of people use Oddsmonkey anyway for match betting purposes, but you can also use it for value betting. So you can see here Tanjong Pagar United in the Singaporean League are 5.5 with Betfair, and this game's tomorrow, and they're 4.8 to lay at the moment. So that's quite a big discrepancy, and that would be a very good value bet. We've got the same here in the under 3.5 in the same game, 3.25, 2.88. We've got this Juventud versus Fluminense game, which is about a week away. We've got Octobet, Fafabet, and Bet Goodwin have it at 2.79, and again it's 2.6 with Smarkets. So this is what you want to do with value betting. You just want to consistently be backing higher odds, and over the long term it does win. I've been doing this for years. I've bet tens of thousands of value bets, and I know that it does really work. How then do you make value bets with the betting exchanges? That is the biggest question that I get, because I am limited from the majority of bookmakers, and now I do value bet a lot on the betting exchanges. So one of the first things I'll say is having 0% commission with Smarkets makes a massive difference. So again, I don't want to just promote Oddsmonkey all the time, but I do use them a lot, and you get 0% commission through Oddsmonkey. So I'll put a link in the description for that. But yeah, to make a decent value bet on the exchanges, I'll give you like a theoretical example. So Bet365 do super boosts almost on a daily basis, and these are a really good way of picking up some value on the exchanges. So let's say, for example, they boosted Sheffield United to odds of 2.5, and I can see now that before the boost, the true odds are 191, 192. And then the boost has been around for about an hour, and I come back and I can see that the odds are 2.04. So I can do a quick check and make sure there's been no injury moves or anything like that. However, it will be pretty obvious that the influx of lay money that's coming to the market with all these match bettors laying the super boost has pushed this price up higher than it should be. Therefore, it becomes value. And this does happen. It happens on horse racing markets, which are a lot weaker, and it happens in secondary football markets. And that is the most obvious answer I can give to finding value with the betting exchanges. This is not the only method I use. I do use other methods. And also the good thing about Smarkets as well is you've got this timeline here, so you can see what the odds were in the morning. So even if you don't know what time the boost came out, it can be pretty obvious. So normally it's like 10 o'clock, and then you might see just a big influx of lay money coming in and these odds going right out. So you can see what the price was before the boost was, and then you just basically make a calculation and say, okay, this looks like obvious value. And with the Bet365 super boost, normally it is value. Just to show some additional proof, I'll just show you that this is an account that I only use for value betting. You can see here that my net deposits are minus 7,776. So this means that's the amount I've withdrawn on this card. And you can also see that my balance is 1,758. So we're up over about 9.5 grand in profit on this account. And this is, yeah, like I say, this is one that I just use for value betting. So here's an example of one that I found. But yeah, Brian DeChambeau, I think that's how you say it. You can see I got it at 14.5 and the odds are 13 now. So this was only a small £10 bet, but this was a little bit of value that I managed to nick on the exchanges. And that is pretty much what I do with the majority of my exchange bets, is I'm just nicking really small value bets when I see the opportunity. And I have taught a few people this method, but I can't share it openly just because it would wreck the edge. But obviously I can show you the bigger one, as the Bet365 kind of super boost the edge is quite obvious. Okay, so next up we have the sharp football bets from the website sharpbetting.co.uk. So I've been doing this since the 20th of March and I'll show you my results here. So I've made 1,158 bets, so I've got some really good volume in, but it's just not gone that great, to be honest. So from about bet 280 to like bet 870, it's just been a really big downswing. There was a few times where it looked like things were getting better, and then in the last couple of days though, things have picked up a little bit. So I have talked to the guys behind this system, and the system itself, the creator said, has done really well, and they've made over 100 grand themselves using the system, and they seem like very honest guys. I like what they do, but they were using it on soft books. They say it hasn't been designed for the exchanges, but what I did find was that I could, so yeah, I should mention all of these bets are on the exchanges, but what I did find was that I could find the bets on the exchanges that they were putting out, and sometimes they were better odds, or I could at least match the odds of the soft books. So theoretically, I don't really see why it wouldn't work, because like I said, I'm not just betting in really big, efficient markets. You can see I've got like Turkey under 20, Millwall under 21s. There's like Slovenian second division. There's Polish women's games. There's, plenty of markets that I don't think are efficient on Betfair. But yeah, it's just not gone very well so far. As you can see, it was a pretty big, consistent downswing. I think we got to like minus 550 at one point. And then it's picked up in the last couple of weeks, and currently we're at minus 275. So I'm staking £10 on these selections up to odds of 6. Anything over odds of 6, I'm staking £5. But as you can see from the graph on just normal value betting, the system that I've been using for years, you do get these down periods. So I'm not willing just to, say that it doesn't work. I'd like to get at least to 2,000 bets and then kind of reassess and see how things are, because yeah, we could go on a good run and it could go into profit. This is the sharp betting website that I'm getting the football bets from. So I do have a paid subscription. It's 30 quid a month at the moment. So they do have racing bets as well, which tend to be each way bets. But yeah, these are the football bets that get flagged up every day. So it is high volume. You can choose the bookmakers that you want. I just leave it on all because I've been taking them on the betting exchanges, mostly on Betfair. You can see a lot of it's in these lower markets. So what I'll do is I'll see if the price is available. If it isn't, I'll put it up and see if it gets matched. And obviously sometimes they don't get matched, so that could be the kind of issue that they're talking about, saying that it's been designed for soft bookmakers and it's not designed for exchanges, and then they might only get matched on the exchanges due to like team news or some reason for the odds increasing. But with the volume that I get on, I still do think that this should work long term. Yeah, so this is sharp betting if anyone wants to check it out. Another strategy that I've been using is tilt the odds. So this is a horse racing strategy. Now I've covered this quite extensively on the channel. I've done 3 separate videos going over the software, how to use it. So I'll keep this one brief. But yeah, overall I've made £2,300 in profit from this strategy. So this isn't just this year. So I'll go on to how much I've made this year from it. You can see I've made a few bets this morning, and you might also notice from the Smarkets account that I showed earlier that some of these were placed on Smarkets. So yeah, I am mostly placed in singles bets now with this software. So what the software does is it compares the odds on the exchanges and it runs its own algorithm, and it basically flags the value in the markets. So yeah, you can see that like this twist or stick I got on Smarkets. Museum Piece I got on at 5.9, so I need to change that actually. But yeah, I'm still finding it profitable, even though I've been limited from most bookmakers. I'm still finding ways to use this. So you can see now I just put up a few bookmakers, I put the single bets, and then I compare and see if I can get a price which is either very close or exactly the exact price. So let's have a look at the profit for the year. So if we go to the beginning of the year, we can see we were at about 940, They've got 888, which is what we'd made last year, using this for the second half of last year. You can see currently the profit is 2,288. So we've made just under 1,500 using the Tilt the Odds strategy. So yeah, if you do want to learn more about it, I'll put a link in the description. They offer a 30-day free trial, which is very fair, so you get a good amount of time to test it out. And I'll add some of the videos that cover it much more extensively as well. The last system I'll talk about is the Betfair horse racing system. So with this system, I look at horses which are odds of 6 or above, and I look at odds movement with bookmakers in the morning markets, basically to give me some signals of what I think will be value. And I place half of my bet at odds on the exchanges at the time, and then half of my bet at the SP odds. So it's worked pretty well. I started really small on this last year, like odds of £2. Now I'm using odds of like £4 and £4, so £8 in total. So again, I'm not staking a lot on it, but the odds are quite high, so you get quite a lot of variance, and I've had like 100-point downswings with this system in the past. But it works. It's pretty solid. It works well. You can see at the high point we were at 1,059. We're down to 665 now. So yeah, despite the fact that I'm only using £4, you can see that it is quite volatile, which is why I'm only staking small amounts on it. But as I say, I can't really share too much because I use it on Betfair and it's in pretty weak morning markets. And if I shared it, then yeah, the edge would basically die. So yeah, that's that one. This is the yearly total, so you can see they've made just over £5,000 this year after 130 days. You can see that it's quite volatile now that I'm mostly value betting. I'm not really doing any match betting or arbitrage, which is, if you're new, I do kind of encourage people to start with value betting and arbitrage. That's just the easiest way. It's just I can't really do that as much anymore. So there are like a few little match betting offers and stuff that I'll do, but it's not a lot, and it doesn't really account for much profit. So yeah, you can see after 73 days I'd made like a very minuscule profit, and I was getting quite frustrated with things, thinking, is it even worth carrying on with this anymore? Because it's just, frustrating, and I'm not making any money. And then the second half of this year, things have gone a lot better. In like the last 2 weeks, I think I made about £2,000, and that was just a reminder that just, you stick with the process. If what you're doing is right, then it's going to come good eventually. So yeah, you can see after 72 days I'd only made in total for the whole year £151 profit, and then come through to today and we're at £5,032. So it just shows, if you do have some solid strategies and you're getting the volume in, even if you're betting quite smaller amounts, like a lot of my betting is quite smaller now. I think the max bets I'll make like £150, you can still do all right. This last graph is the total profit since I started the challenge 98 months ago. So you can see we're up to just under £200,000. This is my first ever month doing the challenge. So month 1, I made £2,014. So you can see early on I was mostly match betting, which is why you get this really nice graph where things just steadily increase. And then the last few years, as kind of the industry's changed and there's kind of less opportunities for arbitrage and match betting, I've done more value betting, and profits have been a little bit more up and down. So yeah, this is where we're at month 98. Total profit overall since we started, £195,482. You can see that there's been a lot more red months in the last few years than there was in the original years, and again that's just due to kind of more arbitrage betting, and I was also doing trading and stuff as well, which was less volatile. But as I say, the industry's changed, the opportunities change in the markets, so I'm doing more value betting now. But still, I'm pretty happy with this year. I don't spend as much time on my betting anymore. I probably put like an hour in the morning and then maybe half an hour later on in the day. So yeah, to make £5,000 this year, I'm quite content with that. Alright, that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, as always, give it a like and subscribe. I'll add any relevant links in the description, so if you want to try out Tilt the Odds or Oddsmonkey, they both offer free trials. And if you want any help with your own betting as well, I don't claim to be the best sports bettor in the world, but I've been profitable for many years, so I can probably give you some pointers. So you can either put a comment on this video, or you can reach out to me via email and I'll do my best to help you out. Thanks for watching.